under the auspices of the Ministry of Justice, Government of India, executed by the CEERA of the National Law School of India, the topic which is going to be presented is undertaken. Today, I will be just speaking to you on the rights and status of women under the Constitution of India. While emphasizing their rights, I will just bring home that which are those areas wherein the women are entitled to get the protection of the legal service authority and legal services. Now, you might be knowing a study which was conducted by under the auspices of the United Nations, and a report that was submitted at a later stage indicated that women actually constitute more than 50% of the world's population. Although they constitute 50% of the world population, they perform more than 2/3 of the work hours and receive 1/10 of the world's income. Not only they receive 1/10 of the world income, but they actually own less than 100% of the world's property. This actually gives the picture and the present status or the status of women everywhere, including the status of India. Now, women have been treated in this country as divine. There are instances they were worshipped, they were honored. But then, although these status were given to them and are given to them, still, because of the dominance of the other community, of the opposite sex, that is males, they have been ill-treated time and again. So when circumstances like this, India became independent. And having become independent, India adopted a constitution of its own. And during the course of the Constituent Assembly debates, they thought that women should be brought to limelight. And for the economic development of a country, education is the prima facie requirement, wherein every woman, every child must be given education, and they should become part of the mainstream of the society. With this in view, when they adopted the Constitution, they adopted one or two basic articles exclusively for the protection of women. Now, first we shall start with the United Nations preamble, the preamble to the Charter of United Nations. The Charter and its preamble go to the extent of pointing out equal rights of men and women are to be protected everywhere, come what may. Now, the same analogy is being incorporated into the Constitution of India. So, when we speak of you just look to the preamble, wherein it makes a mention to what we call as justice, equality, equal opportunity, equal protection, and based on what? The principles of fraternity and social justice. These are certain things which are honored and which have become a guideline for all of us to be followed, not only until this date and in the years ahead. And these concepts, especially liberty, equality, and fraternity, and equal protection of women, has been emphasized and decided in their support even by the Apex Court of India. When we go further, there is an article which is called as Article 15. And Article 15 is an exclusive article which speaks about the protection of women in this country. Under Article 15(1), gender discrimination is prohibited. So discrimination based on gender is actually ruled out. It is just not possible to think of. Now, thereafterwards, under Article 15, paragraph 3 of the Constitution, you might be knowing, the government of the day is empowered to pass legislation exclusively for the protection of women. So what do you mean by this? The government of India, in addition to the protection that is being given, is in a position to enact laws, bring in legislations, and through these legislations, it will be in a position to protect, promote, and give a wonderful status to the society to become a good citizen in this country. And in this development, in this endeavor, there are plenty of legislations Don't be under the impression that these legislations are one or two. More than 60 legislations have been enacted. And these legislations are in the sphere of criminal law. You might be knowing what changes have taken place in the criminal law, especially to protect the women after 2000, after the Nirbhaya case and the Criminal Amendment Act that was adopted subsequent to that. Now, today, under Article 354 of the Section 354 of the Indian Penal Code, you have legislations A, B, C, D. And under this, remember, if anything is done and a woman is not entitled to be protected, she is entitled to, again, get the source from the legal authority, services authority of India. Simultaneously, it take an instance wherein in the campus, a girl is studying. Because of some problems, a particular student throws acid on her. So in situations of this kind, she is entitled to get the legal aid if she is not able to protect herself. These are factors which are very educative and which are known to should be known to everyone. In addition to this, the right to equality and equal opportunity as enshrined in Article 15 of the Constitution is applicable to everyone. Women are equal and equal protection must be given, and it cannot be denied under any circumstances anywhere. And a few of the incidents that has been spoken happen to be, a woman is entitled to rights at every stage. Suppose take it this way, the child is born. When the child is born, remember, naturally she comes under the law that is being enacted by the Government of India, that the protection of children. The moment she becomes aged and gets married, you have a lot of things which comes behind her to protect her. For example, in the event of a marriage, she is entitled to have equal property. And if the property is denied, naturally she can approach the authorities concerned. And if she doesn't have sources, the authorities will come in to file the case and to help her to become a good citizen and to lead a life on her own. Now, in addition to this, suppose, for example, she becomes what we call as aged woman. When she becomes an aged woman, she is entitled to get the pension benefit as per the government. And if the pension benefit is not reaching her, or if some other problem is being caused, she is empowered to approach what we call as the legal service authority, and they would be in a position to protect her interest and help her. Now, the other important aspect that is being spoken is women and industrial law. Now, today, in this age, 50% of the women are working. All they work in different and distinct places. The nature of employment are crude in a few cases. Now, in situations like this, they will be in a position to throw out or not pay, no, they don't pay equal pay. So for this purpose, to protect them and to provide equal pay, legislation has been passed as early as 1979. This legislation, which is actually called as the Equal Remuneration Act. The Equal Remuneration Act, remember, doesn't discriminate between the labor that is being given by a worker to the employer and the salary when it is disbursed by the employer. There should not be and there cannot be any kind of discrimination between the male as well as the female. So this is the objective. And Equal Remuneration Act, remember, has happened to be a wonderful legislation wherein a woman is entitled to go on her own, having gone before the court of law, and she doesn't have the support, the legal service authority will stand behind her and enforce the existing law. And that is the purpose of enacting a legislation of this type, and which is, remember, actually part of the Constitution under Article 39 of the Constitution of India. Then we have what we call as the Maternity Benefit. The Maternity Benefit Act was passed again in the year 1961. And it was passed in 1961 for the first time, but then at least, remember, you should know, women are entitled to get maternity benefit provisions provided she is a working woman up to a period of 6 months. Earlier, remember, it was only what we call as 12 weeks. Now the 12 weeks of maternity benefit with the salary has been increased to 26 weeks. The very purpose of saying this is, in the event of a pregnancy of a woman, just before 3 months of delivery, she is entitled to get the benefit provisions. And she is entitled to medical treatment. She is entitled to the full-time salary, which is being given to her by the employer. In addition, after the delivery, again, the benefit can be extended up to a period of 3 months. So up to a period of 6 months, it was not there at all. This is supposed to be one of the best move and a social legislation which is adopted, wherein most of the people, most of the women folk from the poor category are entitled to get the maximum benefit out of this. Now, in addition to this, under the Constitution of India, reservation is being given. They see women equality before the law and equal opportunity and equal protection. With this in view, the legislations which are enacted by the Government of India, especially the 73rd and 74th Amendment, what does it say? The 73rd and 74th Amendment naturally gives a right for a woman to contest in the local bodies. Certain percentage of seats are reserved exclusively for women. And these women are entitled to, remember, contest, provided doesn't violate reservation. So 33% of the women in the local bodies at the lower level. When I speak about the local bodies, it starts from the panchayats itself. Now thereafter, it goes to the municipalities and the municipalities as well. Here also, remember, they have the reservation. In the event of any mischief that is being played, the courts are always there to help them, to protect them, to see that justice is delivered. That is what I just pointed out. Justice, equality, fraternity, then other things that is being enshrined in the Constitution are equally applicable. So then other aspect that is being spoken is a woman is entitled to have a separate queue. For example, if you go to the railway stations, either in Bangalore or in Mumbai or in Delhi, you have separate reservation counters exclusively for women. Now this was adopted, this was challenged before the court of law. When the matter was challenged before the court of law, they said, remember, especially during vacation time, 3 months advance, before the vacation, there will be lots of queue for purpose of reservation. And people go and stand to buy their ticket. Now this online was not there at that time. And this was questioned, saying that why we should not go and stand. This is a case of certain people, men, and wanted to challenge this. The court pointed out nothing doing. It is exclusively for them. Let them stand. They have the right, and they have to take the property. They have to actually take the benefit and other things equally. Then the reservation that is being given in the transport system. If you go to the government buses, remember, it is put exclusively for women. You can't go and sit there. And this was also challenged, and the court said nothing doing. Now they need protection even while traveling. This is how the Government of India has planned to protect equally the rights of women as the citizens of this country. Now, another important point which I just wanted to harp upon, Article 23 of the Constitution of India. Now, Article 23 of the Constitution of India, which speaks about what? This speaks about suppression of the immoral traffic that used to take place earlier. Women were taken, children were taken and sold in the open market. When they were taken and sold in the open market, remember, there should be some machinery and instrument to protect this. And then the Article 23 of the Constitution, when it came in, the Suppression of Immoral Traffic Act was passed. Now, before the passing of this act, there were the Devadasi system which was prevalent in this country. Now, the Devadasi system which was prevalent in this country go to the extent of pointing out that dancers, dancing girls, all of them were kept, and the people, certain of them, some women used to make money. And there was no chance for escape to the woman. And in the event of just going out, they were brought back and kept. Now today the situation is not like that. Devadasi system is absolutely prohibited. It cannot be practiced. And women, even in other places, remember in what we call as prostitution houses, if she is kept, she has the right to come out of it. Now, in such situations, naturally, when they come out, when they don't have proper sources of income, the legal service authorities will come and help her. Now, these are certain things which are being spoken at every level. Now, in furtherance of this, we know in personal law, what we call as women today are considered as co-partners. And along with the men, they are also part of the system. And under the Hindu Succession Act, now prenatal diagnostics test and postnatal diagnostic tests. Now in these tests, remember what we call as the hospitals would make a lot of money. And in a few cases, when you go to the hospital, there were instances where kidneys were removed. Now, today, such things are absolutely prohibited. The legislation has come. And this legislation which has come naturally would protect the woman. And in the event of not having the economic sources, naturally, the legal service authorities would come and give the required help. What I just wanted to say is the equality in society in a system cannot be achieved unless and until you pass legislations and bring them up so that each one of the citizens of this country should know and come to know what exactly are the legislations which to protect them. If done, naturally, it is going to be an equality in society. With that objective in mind, these articles which I have just mentioned to you are being spoken and spoken at length. There are wonderful cases which are decided in each of the articles by the Supreme Court of India and other high courts, but this is not the time to discuss on these matters. Once again, with best wishes, thank you.